Hey you, this is Dallas Ann, creator of the Violet Pie, and you're listening to Knitting Myself Together. This is our bi-weekly space where we can knit, talk about life, and everything that's going on, and strangely enough, it all comes back to our sticks and string. I am so excited that you all were so excited about episode 1. Like I said, I felt a little ishy and vulnerable and a bit like I was putting myself out there more than normal. And the response was so heartwarming. Thank you for reaching out and saying that you loved hearing it and that it was good for you and that it resonated. And hearing about these similar places that we collectively find ourselves is so good because it's important to know that we're not alone. Life feels super isolating sometimes, and I'm so glad that we have this space and the amazing internet to build our own community, our own village, when we might not have that in our immediate vicinity. So many of you downloaded episode 1 of this new season that if all of you were $1 Patreon supporters, my rent would have been paid for the month of August. My brain exploded a little bit when I saw that statistic on the podcast feed thing. It's escaping my mind. Anyways, wow. Would you consider being a Patreon supporter? If you have the ability, please consider joining over there. If not, I completely understand. And would you do me the huge favor of sharing this podcast with your friend, your knitting group, or on social media? Just get the word out and help other people enjoy this space that we have too. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, that link will be in show notes. You can also find me at patreon.com/violetpie. Well, right now, I am currently knitting a navy colored pullover. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to fit me perfectly. But that's only going to happen if I actually finish it. I feel like my brain is oozing out my ears as I'm knitting the same monotone color over and over and over again. It's sport weight, so there's a bajillion and a half stitches, and I just feel like I'm making no progress. It's gotten to the point where I stick a removable stitch marker in when I start knitting, and then I measure when I have to put it down just to encourage myself that yes, I have in fact made progress, even though it might only be an inch. That's one less inch I still have to knit. Needless to say, I am so over this singular color sweater thing, which I gotta tell you is a completely new turn of events for me. Just last year, the idea of knitting anything other than a solid colored sweater terrified me. And yet here I am, bored out of my gourd with this solid color sweater. I think it might be because I was completely spoiled during my trip to rural New York. You may have seen it on social media. I had a blast. The colors just in the surrounding landscapes were so vibrant. The greens were greener than any green I've seen in a long time, and the sky was so blue, and just everything was rich and resonating and just glorious. I had my vacation knitting sponsored by Hula Hut Yarns, and she sent me this amazing, heavily variegated, saturated color with a bajillion adorable speckles. And that top turned out amazing. And it has truly been the turning point, in my opinion, on speckles and heavily variegated. Like I said before, I've been really, really stuck on the idea that I only want to knit in solids or tonals. And whoa, pump the brake there on those tonals. We can't have it being too crazy. But now, after making that super great top, I want to knit everything in heavy variegated speckled something. I just don't understand where it's coming from. I'm trying really hard not to ignore it. I'm trying to really hard not to resist or push back. Just embrace it and go with it, because maybe it's that creativity, that muse, that big magic talking in a very small way. But it's a little hard because so many of my things right now that I'm knitting, that I'm designing for you, are in my old color perspective. So finding that balance is a little tricky, and I think once I finish this navy sweater of doom, I'm going to have to balance it out with some sort of personal, vibrant, bright project. I picked up some amazing yarn from a local yarn store up in Chicago a couple weekends ago, and oh my goodness, it makes me think of dandelion puffs and good wishes. And I'm thinking that might be my mental health break knitting. There's 2 skeins of fingering thereabouts. What would you suggest I knit with that? I would love to hear your patterns, shawls, cowls, what have you. I'm not really feeling the shrugs right now. But if you have any suggestions, please share them. I'd love to see what you're loving right now. And hopefully that will speak to me and the yarn, and we can see how that all ties in together. I recently asked you on social media about color and what color you have a hard time working with. For me, it's orange. And a lot of you seem to be in this same orange boat that I am. But you gotta understand, I love the idea of orange. There's the rich and robust autumnal leaves, cheerful citrus like clementines and tropical flowers, and oh my gosh, clownfish. How could you forget clownfish? They're so adorable with their bright, cheerful, vivid orange and white stripes and black bits. Oh my gosh. Orange is amazing. I just can't ever make it work with knitting. I take that back. There is that one time I made that one hat out of an orange ombre yarn. It was my very first color work project, and I balanced it with gray. It's really pretty actually, and I wear it a lot in the winter. And yeah, that is my only orange project that I've ever been successful with. And as I've been saying, I've been perpetually surprised by the way color has been speaking to me lately. And looking back on the designs I've finished that are coming out this year, my past color choices have been really surprising me as well. Everything is pink this year. WTF. I don't hate pink, but what is this thing with all this pink manifesting? I just don't understand. They're all different pinks. They're all glorious pinks. They're not all the same shade, but wow, there's a lot of it. And looking at this entire year, I'm thinking, oh, I need to learn to be more observant for 2019 and making sure that everything isn't pink or isn't all blue or what have you. I need more variety. Is there any color you would specifically like to see me design something in? I'm really actually looking for inspiration ideas right now, so I'd love to hear from you on that. When it comes to color and life, Do you find that what you wear and the colors you choose are reflective of your headspace or your perspective of how the day is going to be? Because that's how it is with me. If I don't want people to talk to me, if I just want to be drab and monotone and just left to my own devices, I wear drab, monotone, dull, boring things like black on black on black on black with no pizzazz, no flair, nothing. Just let me blend into the terribleness of life, into the muck and murkiness that is my headspace, and just don't talk to me. But when I'm feeling good and when I'm excited about things, I wear bold colors and vibrant choices, and I tend to take risks and mixing patterns and stepping out of my box. Or like recently, I've been feeling good. I've been feeling grounded. I've been feeling solid. There's a lot of big things that are happening in my life, but I'm coming to terms with the idea that my life will always have big things. Big things that are positive, negative, neutral. I don't know if a big thing can be neutral, but you get what I'm saying. There's always going to be big things. And what matters is how I am handling things inside. And right now, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling, I don't even know, the word I want to say is rich. I feel rich in love and rich in community and rich in all good things. And I have a sense of trust and faith and belief that it's going to be okay. And so the colors I've lately been finding myself drawn to are these very deep, vibrant colors, like deep red and black eyes Susan yellow, and then also rich muted colors as well. I found this adorable striped dusty rose and cream striped dress at the secondhand store, and I'm like, yes, this is me. But it wasn't me. Even just like 4 months ago, I would have looked at that and said, pass. So yeah, that's a little tidbit there. If you see me in all black, still say hi to me. But don't be surprised if I'm not super vibrant and happy. I probably actually need a hug. I mean, yes, hug me as long as, well, you're not going to pet my boobs. I was at this yarn festival market event a couple years ago, and I was wearing this glorious vintage glass bottle green mohair sweater that I had knit for myself. And I was walking down the hall, and this lady just came rushing up to me. Now, we casually knew each other from other spaces, so she wasn't a complete stranger. But in those other spaces that I had seen her, she was very austere and traditional and very much kind of matronly. And suddenly she was all in my bubble of space, almost giddy with excitement, and she started petting my boobs. And I'm like, oh, hi. And she said, your sweater is just beautiful, and it's so soft, and you look like you needed a hug, so here I am. And instead of hugging me, she just kept petting my boobs. So, hugs, yes. Petting, most likely, no. So if you can find the balance between the two, I would love a hug. Well, I should probably let you go. You've got the rest of your day or evening to head into. I've got that navy blue sweater that I've got to finish. I am so close. While we've been talking here, I've been working on the ribbing for the bottom of the hem, and holy crap, I'm so close yet so far away, and I really need to finish it. Oh, wait, before you go, please, I have to tell you something so exciting. So just stick around. I am going to be going to Stitches Midwest again this year. It's happening the first weekend in August, and I'm not just going as somebody who's attending the market, but I'm going to be in the Leading Men Fiber Arts booth on Sunday during the market time, which is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they are hosting me as a featured designer in their space, and I am going to be releasing 2 new patterns over the Stitches weekend, and that's featuring their yarn, and you can see it there in person at Stitches Midwest in Schaumburg, which is just outside of Chicago. I would love to see your face there and, maybe get a hug from you too. You will also, if you come and see me in person on Sunday from 10 to 4, you'll also be able to get a buy one, get one free coupon code. So you'll buy one of the new patterns, and when you add the second pattern that I'm releasing that weekend to your cart, it will show up as free. But you only get that if I get to see your face. I think that's a fairly good trade-off. I get to see you, you get a free pattern. It all works out in the end. So if you have time and availability, please come out and see me, Stitches Midwest, the first weekend in August. Just as a reminder, there is a tester thread that you can sign up for over on Ravelry. If you just post in that, I will add your name to the earburn list, so you'll get notifications through Ravelry every time I post a new test knit. I would love to work with you. And again, if you would like to just say hi, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. There's also my email. All of those are thevioletpie. And then the email is at gmail.com. Well, until next time, you keep that yarn moving.